2024 on the multifamily side is going to be the year of incredible disruption. You're going to see, I think we're going to see owners change, new come in, old ones leave. You're going to see things go back and forth in an incestuous manner from operators. Things move from, portfolios moving from operating under one entity to another entity or competitor. This is the year of great opportunity and great disruption.
And when you're looking at, your own portfolio and some of the buildings that are in default or that you're trying to renegotiate with the lender, how much would you say the value of those have dropped?
It's really kind of hard to say, to pinpoint it as a whole, because certain areas things are moving and there's certain areas where people that are very difficult to move. Last year, I don't know, last year, say 2023, I don't think much moved at all for say Tenderloin and Mission or South of Market assets. Am I starting to see that pick up? Yes. There were a lot of sales that are more almost, I would say opportunistic, but almost vulturistic, but I think we're seeing less of that. And, the ownership of multifamily was smaller mom and pops and independent groups. And I'm not I can't blame them, but once you started seeing, look back to city apartments, and when they went through a 2, maybe 3 year period where 3 out of every 4 buildings over 12 units they purchased, they were able to use more institutional equity and institutional financing, and then created these large portfolio loans. And from their collapse, let's say the typical story of greed, that created a different type of environment, so that you're seeing these note sales. You're seeing people be excluded out of buying some buildings because they're a part of a larger portfolio. Flip the switch so that the ownership structures were typical of 20 years ago, would be seeing the same sort of news stories. I don't think we would.
Because they wouldn't be as leveraged.
Also, people have ties to them, and you might see people are going, hey, we're going to figure out a way to stay in it, because we see the overall picture. We're San Franciscans, we believe in San Francisco, as compared to, well, we don't really have any ties to this community. It's just looking at numbers, we'll walk. The average mom and pop or a family can't afford to go ahead and to make that type of a decision. So you figure out a way to make it work.
And obviously you guys are, have investors that are institutional.
We're on both sides.
Yeah. So do you feel like you're contributing to this as well?
No, I don't think that we're contributing to it, because I don't think there's any goal to walk away from any property. We'd love to be able to, and we've been successful with working with our various lenders through these difficult times where we've had loans that are coming up on maturities, and it's or the opportunities to go ahead to being able to be aggressive in trying to purchase the note for ourselves.
Are the backers, though, that are not necessarily local, do they feel the same way?
I think for the most part, most of the capital here that made the investments into this area see the overall value and of staying in San Francisco, because the recovery is going to be greater than it was. It always comes back, and it always exceeds the period before the prior precipice.
It sounds like your feeling about San Francisco is that inevitably it will come back. Do you feel the same way about LA and Oakland?
Yeah, but it'll be slower, in my opinion. For Oakland, I think will be slower. Let's face it has a lot of problems there. And again, it's about safety, and there's no reason for people, if you don't have to, you're not forced to stay in an area that's not safe, then why? So cities have to go ahead and start really thinking about what they can do to overcome some of these issues. It's, because what they've been doing is not necessarily, some communities, what they've been doing is not working. and they're losing out on, employers are not going to want to be in these areas because they can't, their employees don't want to work there because they don't feel safe going there. And then that sort of creates that spiral down because then you can't, because of the resulting loss in business taxes and or property taxes, then you have to go ahead and you can't afford to do, cities can't afford to go ahead and support nonprofits or community activism or things along that line that are important and key. So it's really, I think, it just comes down to it has, I think there has to be, or we all have to reach that inflection point where we're saying it's, not a mayor or, a board of supervisors or a city council with a hammer beating things down and saying, hey, we need this. If we want our city to be vibrant, these are the things we need to help and maintain or make sure that, there's no reason for them to leave. And I think hopefully we're getting to that point right now.
And what about in LA?
I'm not Kurt Russell, with my eye patch and surfing through down Sunset Boulevard or something like. So it hasn't reached that. It's not like Detroit and RoboCop.